Now there's one annoying thing when you work with LLMs and you code a lot with the help of LLMs, which is it cannot read your terminal. So in this case, for instance, I made a super silly mistake in not having this import correctly set up. And I'm running here my dev server for Veed. Now, if I load this app, and I'm loading it up in another terminal here, another window here, you can see it errors out in a terminal. Now, by default, what you would do is kind of like try to figure out what's going on. Like you might copy this, paste it into your chat and use the help of the LLM base to figure out what's going on. Obviously, this is a super easy mistake. You would figure it out on your own probably pretty quickly. But what we wanted to do is integrate this whole experience much more. And so what we did is we made the LLM aware of what's running in your terminal. And so for instance, here I'm in Copilot and let me just ask what tasks are currently running. What tasks are currently running in my terminal? And so what happens here is that you can see it uses the NxMCP behind the scenes, which has a tool for getting the task details. So let me just continue this one. And so it's going to look into them. And what it's going to tell me is that it sees two different tasks that are running. So there is basically this development server for the shop app, which is this one here. And then there's another one for the utils, which is this one here, which is like a buildable lib that got triggered when I served my application. Now it's even going ahead to run the task output and figuring out what's going on automatically. Now let me cancel that for now because I'm going to show you a different approach what this whole interaction enables, because you're definitely not going to ask the terminal or the LLM what tasks are running. You would rather do maybe something like this. Help me fix my broken dev server. And so I give it a pretty vague instruction here, just like telling it like, help me fix what's broken currently with my dev server. So you can see again, it invokes that task details tool from the NxMCP. So it probably recognizes there's a development server. So it invokes basically the task details for that specific one. And now we'll get all the logs, which will give it the stack trace. And so it understands there's a syntax error going on. So it sees there is like a wrong import. It also invokes the NxWorkspace tool, which gives it all information about the projects in the workspace. And so that allows it to figure out the correct import, which in this case is AI shop/UI instead of AI shop UI shared. And so it goes and reads the app TSX file and it goes and implements the actual fix. And so we can accept this one. We now have a corrected fix in our code base. So how does this work behind the scenes? Basically, NX Console hosts the MCP with which the LLM integrates. And so that allows the LLM to have a channel to communication with NX Console itself, which in turn then exposes all the metadata of the workspace you're currently working in. Now, whenever you launch the new NX Terminal UI, what also happens is that the NX Console hosts a JSON RPC server that allows to establish a communication with the terminal and the NX Console. We also made sure that the terminal communicates with the correct workspace instance, such that like you don't mess up if you have multiple workspaces running. But once this communication channel is established, the terminal can basically send information about the current tasks that are running, about their corresponding logs, and have that stored in the NX Console server or the NX Console instance that is running with that JSON RPC server. And so whenever the LLM then calls in, that information is available and can be exposed again over MCP. Now, obviously, at that point, the LLM takes over, it gets all the information, it has the context and knowledge of the code base, the files you're currently working in. As you have seen in the demo here, it even invoked other tools to get more insight of what packages there are because it had to fix an import. And it was able to combine all of this with the intelligence of the LLM basically and fix it for us. Now, this also means you don't necessarily have to run within the actual terminal here of, in this case, VS Code. But what I could also do is do the same in Warp, for instance. So let me just go in here. I'm in the same workspace. I just run MBX NX Dev Shop, which now runs the terminal UI in this workspace here. So you can see the same thing. Now let me go over and again, change this to be wrong. And so let me go here. Let me here instantiate a new chat window and ask the same question. Help me fix my broken dev server. And so now again, it goes through the same flow. I'm on purpose using the exact same one because now you can see it again invokes the different tasks that are currently running, which it pulls here from this Warp terminal. And so again, you can see it has perfect visibility. There's a dev server running. So it basically goes through the exact same flow. So it gets the output here, and this output is what we see in here. And then it goes through and fixes it for us. So you can see this is pretty powerful because you can even have it outside your editor, because some people prefer to have it in an external terminal, or you run it within the IDE integrated terminal. So I hope this was cool. As always, subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.